only a threat to the economy, but also a threat to religion and morality? There's a good chance our next guest is going to answer yes on both counts. Rabbi Daniel Lapin joins us now. He is the author of Thou Shalt Prosper, the 10 Commandments for Making Money. Rabbi, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed, Stuart. Great to be with you.
Now, I've made a connection between what I call the paganism and the retreat from the Judeo-Christian ethic in Europe and its economic decline. I say they are linked. Do you agree with me?
Bingo. Absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, Europe and its economic success over the last 1,000 years was built on its Judeo-Christian origins. And I agree with you entirely. The abandonment of those fundamental principles are arm in arm and not coincidental with its decline in every possible way, culturally and economically.
Can you give me and our audience biblical references that support capitalism?
Well, yes. You see, what we're dealing with really are two competing moral systems, and they're laid out at the beginning of Genesis. It's essentially a conflict between the moral system of Abraham, which was essentially individual independence and obedience to God's laws, versus the Tower of Babel and the vision of Nimrod. Essentially, it's a struggle between two competing virtues. On the one hand, the virtue of equality, and on the other, the virtue of liberty. Now, if you want liberty, then you're not going to be able to have 100% equality. If, on the other hand, you want equality, you're going to have to do it at the expense of liberty and freedom. Taxation is the tool for suppressing freedom and bringing about a centralized Tower of Babel control environment under the guise of equality for everybody.
Rabbi, I'm an Episcopalian and this is music to my ears. I want to bring in my colleague Charles Payne, who I believe is a Baptist, and I want to hear what he's got to say. Charles.
Yeah, hi Rabbi. And you know, it really is interesting because, thank you. A lot of the programs, though, that are being promoted in the guise of actually, you know, in giving in the sort of nature of a godliness. In other words, hey, if we give everyone health care, isn't that what God would want? And the way I think some people should look at it, perhaps, is if it's all given to us, then we've lost the will to believe that we can get it ourselves. In other words, the government not only supplants our own internal initiative, but also perhaps the faith that we had that if we work hard, God will reward us as well.
Absolutely. Look, they, by design and intent, they sound thoughtful and they sound decent and they sound caring. But at the same time, they are utterly and sublimely clueless about how the world really works.
Rabbi, we thank you very much for joining us. I have one last quick question. I detect a slight accent, not as broad and sharp as mine, but you've got an accent. I believe, are you South African?
Gosh, you've got a very good ear. I was going to try and pass myself off as from the Bronx.
Is it South Africa? Is it?
It is, yes. I was absolutely, yeah, that's right. I was born on the southern tip of the African continent.
Well, it was great to hear
from you. And in many ways,
sir.
I'm an African-American.
Well, look, we're very pleased to have you with us today, Rabbi. Come and see us again. Good stuff. Thank you, sir.
Love to. Thank you.
Check the big